How's everybody doing? Hello there. Hello there. Welcome to the channel. I appreciate you tuning in. If you've never been here before, please hit the subscribe bell, hit the notification bell, and subscribe to the channel. Everybody else, welcome back. Welcome back. Regarding this case that has exploded all over the internet between Carmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf, there's been so much drama, so much turmoil. But what I really want to talk about is the fact that there has been so much hate. Besides the misinformation, which is just boundless, there has been so much hate that I am thinking about refraining from covering the case at all anymore. Maybe I will just talk about certain facts when they come up later on as the case progresses. I try to deal with facts in the 3 or 4 videos I made on this case. And as I said, there's just so much hate involved, and it's really, really unfortunate. I try to cover the Carmelo Anthony Austin Metcalf case by dealing with the legality of the case, about what is legal and what is not legal, and what will transpire in the court of law, because I've had the experience myself. So I am privy to the hearings that will take place and the motions that will be put into court. But it seems that so many people on both sides, as all of you have witnessed, have hate in their hearts. And if any of you have heard the metaphor about an orange, you will comprehend a little bit about what I mean. If you take an orange and you squeeze the orange, what will come out? Orange juice will come out. If you take 1 million oranges and you squeeze all 1 million oranges, orange juice will come out of the orange. You won't get grapefruit juice. You won't get lemon juice. You won't get apple juice. What's on the inside is what comes out. And it's the same thing with human beings. And that's the metaphor. When a human being is squeezed a little bit, what's inside will come out. If there's love in there, love will come out. People will respond in a loving, caring, compassionate, understanding way. And if there's hate in your heart, then the hate will come out. And it is apparent that so many people in society today have a lot of hate and frustration inside of them. And it becomes difficult for me to follow the case because of the hateful comments and the one-sided comments and the racist comments that I receive, or that anyone that's covering this case receives. I am not a man filled with hate, and I am not a man who's a racist. And so when I hear the comments come and the lies that have transpired, I mean, we have, things like, let me read a few of them to you. There's been videos that Carmelo Anthony's case was dropped. It wasn't dropped, a false video. Videos that Carmelo Anthony was arrested as a juvenile, then other videos shooting it down. Videos that Carmelo Anthony was caught with a knife at school, and then a news outlet posted that, and then they had to retract it because they found out that the information couldn't be backed up. The family buying a new Cadillac and moving into a new house. Some people said it was with the GoFundMe money. Others said it wasn't with the GoFundMe money. The rumors that both brothers jumped Carmelo Anthony, tons of videos about that. There's no evidence of that. Videos about the judge's door being kicked in. Then people said the video was from 5 years ago. Videos saying Carmelo Anthony's family was stalked. Other videos saying it was fabricated. Fake autopsies reports have been put on there. Fake articles from the police chief have been put on there. Articles about Hunter getting charged, Austin Metcalf's brother, No evidence of that. I mean, and don't say anything in the comments about everything I just said, because I'll just block you from the channel. How about that? You won't be able to see the channel at all. I don't need to hear what's true and what's not true. There's an old saying: believe half of what you see and none of what you hear. Believe half of what you see and none of what you hear. Very true. So there's been filled with a lot of hate, filled with a lot of lies, people trying to mislead everyone. And it's coming from both races. It's coming from both ethnicities. It's coming from all different ethnicities. People sticking up for people because of skin color. How ignorant can you be to stand up for someone because of the color of their skin? You stand up for someone when they're in the right, and then you speak out against someone if they're in the wrong. Color has nothing to do with it. The main message from this entire situation, from this entire unfortunate situation of two 17-year-olds, is that sin will take you further than you want to go, and it will keep you longer than you want to stay. And I don't say that from a biblical standpoint. When I say sin, I just mean doing something wrong, doing something criminal. And this is the message that we need to send to our youth out there that are watching this case and that are following this case, is that when you do something wrong, that situation is going to keep you longer than you want to stay involved in it, that there's repercussions for your actions. If you could learn anything from this, you must learn that there are repercussions for your actions, and you cannot be impulsive. You cannot be impulsive, because prison is a reality inside of this world. And when you act impulsive, you will go into the prison system. And when you go into the prison system, it is a lonely, scary, dark, evil place where you will be completely controlled, where you will be told when you can call home, what you can do, what you can wear, what you can eat, what you can say, where you can stand, when you can go outside. You'll be told if you could see your family, if you can't see your family. You'll be subjected to people killing one another, stabbing one another, cutting one another, setting one another on fire. And you'll be alone in a cell in a cold, dark place. This is a reality of when you break the law. And the youth must understand that there are repercussions. There are repercussions for behavior. The repercussions of this case is that Austin Metcalf is dead. His family no longer has him here. They will live the rest of their lives with the loss of their son. The reality is that Karmelo Anthony may very well end up in prison for a long time. And his family will live without him inside of the prison system. And he will be exposed to the traumatic experience of being in there. I'm not talking about who's right or wrong. I'm talking about the entire situation being wrong, being sad, because people want to act on impulse. People don't want to think before they act. And a lot of the youth are stuck on peer pressure, feeling that they have to have an ego and stand up or show off or act tough instead of living. See, pressure comes from the outside. All those pressures to behave a certain way and act a certain way come from the outside. But there's something on the inside called principle. Principle. And you should stand on principle, what's on the inside, not cave into the pressure that's on the outside. You kids have the ability to do whatever you want in life, and you must have belief and commitment in yourself, and do the right thing and live the right way. Because I'm not taking a side in this case. I don't care who was right or wrong. That's not what I make my videos for, about pointing out who was right or wrong, about taking a side. As I said, I was speaking about the legality of it. I've spoken many times about the space between stimulus and response. And let me tell you, in this exact incident between Carmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf, how stimulus and response came into play on both sides. On both sides. Let me explain what stimulus and response is. When something happens in your life, your brain gets stimulated. It can be from anything. If you're a drug addict and you're trying to stay clean and you see someone using drugs, your brain gets stimulated. And then there's going to be a response. Your response may be to walk away and say, I don't want anything to do with that. Your response may be to pick up the drugs and get high. But there's going to be a response. But between stimulus and response, there is a space there. That space may only be a fraction of a second, but it's in that space where we make all our choices and decisions. Do you follow me? You can call it the space of free will, the space of responsibility. But between stimulus and response, there's a space there. If you're a married man and you have a very attractive woman hitting on you, your brain is going to be stimulated. There's going to be a response. Is the response to talk to her? Is the response to walk away and say, I'm a married man, I don't want any part of that? Right? There's going to be some type of response to the brain being stimulated. But in the space between them, you'll make your choice. And in regards to Carmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf, when Carmelo Anthony came under that tent that belonged to the other team, we're not talking about whether it's right or wrong. I'm not getting into those specifics. What I'm saying is when he did that, Austin Metcalf was stimulated. His brain was stimulated. It bothered him in some fashion. And then he had to choose a response. And in between stimulus and response, that space was there. He could have chose not to say anything. He could have chose to walk away. He chose in that space to confront Carmelo Anthony. In between stimulus and response, there's a space. Whether it was right or wrong for him to confront him, I told you, not talking about that. I'm not getting into that. I'm getting into the fact that he made a decision in that space. And he approached him. Now when he approaches him and words get exchanged, guess what? Carmelo Anthony's brain is stimulated. And there's going to be a response. But in the space between stimulus response, he could have chose to walk away. He could have chose to leave. But his response was to pull out a knife. So what I'm saying is the first thing that you have to understand, and I'm speaking to adults as well as youth, is that space exists in between stimulus and response. There is a space there, and that space exists. I need you to recognize that. And then once you recognize that space exists, I want you to begin controlling that space between stimulus and response. Because if you control that space, you will control part of your life, a big part of your life, when you learn how to respond to situations. But you can't respond with the hate. You can't respond with the anger. You can't respond with the ego. You must respond with peace and love, man, as funny as that may sound. Imagine if the situation went different. Imagine if Austin Metcalf didn't approach Carmelo Anthony and said, who cares? Let him sit under the tent. What's the big deal? We wouldn't be here today. What about if Austin Metcalf goes to approach Carmelo Anthony and asks him to leave, and Carmelo Anthony says, I'm sorry, no problem. I didn't mean anything by it. I didn't mean to offend you. Have a good day. And he left. We would have avoided this whole situation. Everyone could respond differently. Again, I'm not getting like religious on you because I'm not a religious person, but we have like the spirit inside of us and the spirit of the flesh inside of us. It's like flesh versus spirit all the time. The flesh wants the bad things. The flesh wants the attention. The flesh is the ego. The flesh wants the money. The flesh wants the fame, but then the spirit wants different things. And there's a good spirit in all of us. The spirit wants to spend time with family, to help thy neighbor, to do good. And these two spirits battle each other all the time. It's like having one on each shoulder, like they say, the devil on one shoulder, the angel on the other. Whatever spirit. Here, I'll give you an example. If you have two dogs, and one dog is named Flesh, and one dog is named Spirit, and all you do is feed flesh all the time. You just feed flesh all the time, but you deny spirit food. You don't feed spirit. What's going to happen? The flesh is going to grow strong, and spirit's going to grow weak. You people need to feed the spirit in your life. Live the right way. Do the right thing. And deny the dog flesh the food. And then you'll become a different type of person. I'm not trying to sit here and preach to you. I'm talking to you. I lived 17 years in a prison cell. I know what that pain is like. I know what it's like to take someone's life and destroy another family and crush my own family and crush my own life. A life that I still suffer this day. I'm in my 50s. And because I committed that crime when I was 24 years old, I still suffer greatly because of it in various areas. I suffer with employment. I suffer spiritually. You know, I suffer a lot in a lot of ways. I have a lot of PTSD from the experience. My choice and my decision when I was 24 years old hurt me for the rest of my life. And these kids, this kid is going to be hurt for the rest of his life. It will hurt him. And this poor kid that lost his life. Everyone made this a racial case, and I'm really pissed. I'm not surprised, but I'm pissed that everyone made it a racial case. This was a case between two 17-year-old kids. Two kids that didn't think before they acted. Oh, man. You need to be the light of the world. You need to be the light of the world and do good things and concentrate on good things. You know, life is difficult. Life is difficult. It's a great truth. You know, life is a series of problems, and we can either moan about them or we can solve them. You know, and I want you youth to know that as difficult as life is, you need to focus on positive goals. You need to go after. There's going to be a fork in the road, and you can go either way. And if you decide to go the wrong way, that's your responsibility. You know the difference between right or wrong. You make your choices and decisions. And as I said, life is difficult, but you have to attack obstacles. When there's an obstacle in front of you, you go over it, you go around it, you go under it, or you run through the obstacle. You know, and we need to teach our kids this determination to live in a positive way. I mean, I'm really sorry this case took this turn, you know, and all the lies and all the hate and all the misinformation and everything that's taken place. I've gotten the stupidest, most ignorant comments in the comment section that it's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous, you know. So I hope that people just learn to have some more love in their hearts and not as much hate in their hearts. And it would have been nice if this unfortunate case happened, that people could have just let it play out without all the insanity, you know? Let me wrap this up right now. This was just a little message that I wanted to give about this case and about the way people need to start thinking and acting and behaving, because it's not one side, it's both sides, you know, and it's sad. You guys take care. I'm wrapping this up.